thinking about when you come up with the plan. And I know, because there's only 5 or 6 kickoffs in a game, you think, Shivas, do I really need to spend so much time at it? Well, you don't have to spend hours and hours at it, but I think it's a skill that can be trained, and it is an area in which every team can try to gain an advantage. I'm a firm believer that, you know, people talk about coach killers. If you just scored a try, and then the opposition kick off to you and you don't regather that kick and you give them the ball back, that almost kills, you know, it kills the momentum, it kills the coach. So for me, I see it as part of your momentum control. Because if I've just scored a try and you kick off to me and I keep the ball for 3 phases and I kick a long kick and I'm back in your 22, geez, the momentum is back with me and the pressure is back to you again. So that's how I see a restart, a kick restart in a game. And again, I'm talking a lot. Just want to go to something else while I'm here. I spoke just now about a kick accuracy. I hope you can all see the screen. I'm going to try and make it bigger. Where's this thing now? I'm going to try and make this bigger. Here we go. I hope everyone can see the screen.
Yeah.
But you know, the first thing I spoke about was a kick accuracy. So if you look at the Springboks here, this is against Wales. That's the first kick off. Nice, deep. Look at where it lands, inside the 22, inside the 15. The chase is there. Tackle gets made. That's the first one. I'm just looking at the accuracy, nothing else. Look at the next one. Just there, good pressure. I think the Springboks get a penalty from here, 3 points. This is a World Cup semi-final. So, and again, I know it's maybe a different level, but it's so important to understand, you know, 5 kickoffs, same spot in the 22. Look at the 8th man under pressure. Wales, what can you do from there? You know, it's just about understanding those principles. But I think everyone gets a picture as to how it all sort of plays out. I mean, this is the next one. Look at that, just outside the 22. It's the first one that he hasn't got there, but the kick pressure is good. And then I'm going to play the last one from Andre. Again, back into the Welsh 22. Doesn't have much of a... So, and back to my point, it is so important to have a kick accuracy, because if you don't have that, you know, then you sort of, it's pointless to have anything else. That's how good your profile of a team is. This is the first and foremost important thing that you got to get right. Then you got to work on the profile of your team. And I'd speak about, because the All Blacks are good in this. They can kick an aerial contest. I spoke about Australia. Again, if your roles are not clear enough, it's such a silly thing. But if you look at this is 2020. Sorry, excuse the sound there. Let me just bring it down. Yeah, I hope you don't have to hear. 6 Nations this year, England against Wales. You can see that's a lock, if I'm not mistaken there. I don't know why they changed their plans or they went that side, but have a look.
It's not showing, Buff.
Is it not showing?
On the screen? No.
Okay, let me share, because I'm probably not sharing it, sorry. Let me share. I've got a whole lot of things open here, so I'm trying to make sure that, do I close it now? Okay, I'll find it in the next little while. Just give me a second. I'll get back to it. Let me see if I can find it there. No. I'll find it just now and share it. Sorry about that. Now I'm trying to get back here. Here we go. I'll find it. Hold on. Sharing the internet. Can anyone see now?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay.
Yeah. We can now see your screen.
Okay, brilliant. I'm going to go to it now. It's going to come. It's going to come. Just bear with me. So this is a 6 Nations game. I mean, this is, you know, top level rugby, 2 top teams, but I'm not sure what England were planning here because you see Tuilagi dropping off. I don't know who that's a lock there that they've got on the side. I think it might be George Crace. Look at that. They got wing on the inside. So the rabbit misses the tackle. All of a sudden they're disorganized. I mean, this is, it's obviously it's a good try, but my point is, I don't know what their plan was. And if you as a coach are walking out of your halftime team talk and not having really planned, okay, we're going to kick off, this is where we're kicking off, this is what our chase line looks like, I think at some point you're probably missing a slight point there. So England would, I don't want to say disorganized, they probably had a plan and they changed it for some other reason, but I can't foresee any reason why they would have a lock in that position, unless he was obviously playing it loose forward but this was before the red card had happened. And if you see the Mane Tuilagi drop off, I think it is him. You see that he drops off.
We can see your screen, but there's no video. Well, we're not seeing the video, but.
Okay, I'm going to say stop share again. I'm going to pause share. Okay, I'm going to try it again. Let's go Zoom, share screen. I don't know if I'm plan next 8 months. Better now? Sorry, I keep going on and off here with these technologies.
We can see the video now.
Okay, apologies about that again. As I said, if you look at the England setup here, so, they're ready to play. I'm not sure why they would have gone to the left side, but if you look at their detail, and that's, for me, the big thing is a detail. So there you go. You've got the loose forwards on the inside. So I'm guessing they're not going to, he'd be the guy that you think would be out wide, but they've got a lock out there. But not only have they got a lock, but they've got him outside the winger. They've got him outside the center there. So you look and there goes the... So there goes Elliot Daly going for the chase. Mane Tuilagi drops off if you can see him. Not sure what the thinking was there. Maybe they're expecting Wales to kick. But now you've exploited this guy. That's a kick. That's why I keep talking about the roles and the importance of their roles. Of organizing your kick chase, because teams do just, there we go. So the first guy gets beaten, you hope he makes his tackle. Second guy gets done in, all of a sudden your whole team is opened up. Whatever you might have discussed at halftime, I'm sure that wasn't part of the plan. To say, when we kick off, this is what's going to happen. So important, again, just to touch on that concept of you need a role clarity when you're doing a kickoff and you're the team that's kicking off. And I'm hoping that makes sense. I'm going to move on from that and go back to this. I spoke about the opposition setup. You got to see how the team sets up, how they attack. If you play against a kicking team, sometimes you don't have to worry too much. And you also have to identify the weak areas. Spoke about the game context. Your team needs to be able to be ready to play. We found ourselves in 2018 against France needing to play for a win, and we didn't have a plan for a short kickoff. It's quite embarrassing that I'm saying it to you guys now, but our team we'd never trained it. So it was extremely embarrassing in that moment because we didn't have a plan and the players didn't know what to do. So it's easy to assume the players will know, but we as a coaching staff take it on the chin because it was embarrassing that we didn't prepare the team well enough in that regard. Again, I don't know. Before I move on, are there any questions? So while we're chatting, because otherwise I'm just chatting and it's a bit weird talking to yourself.
If there's any questions, just unmute yourself and ask. We're not too many.
Good, no problem.
Okay. Everyone's still fine, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Again, very sort of simple questions that we ask ourselves when we sort of go with our kick planning. What is our plan for the 50-meter kickoff? If we receive or if the opposition are kicking, is it deep, is it left, is it right, is it short? If they kick there, how do we play? There's another question around the kicking game. I know that most teams in Kenya generally are quite good at keeping ball in hand and having a go, but South Africa is slightly different to an extent because sometimes you do need to have a kicking game. I spoke about the chase line policy. If you are receiving kicks, because sometimes you kick deep, you say, they're going to kick it back. If they kick it back, are you set up to actually counter-attack? Have you got a policy? Some teams still drop a number 8, and you see that a lot. So the question is, can he throw a pass if the space is on the opposite side? Is he good in the air? Or is he just dropping a number 8 because that's what everyone else in World Rugby used to do in the 5-10 years ago? You take a team like the Springboks, they'll drop their 8 there because Dwayne Vermeulen is good under the high ball, and he can take contestable kicks. In your attack, what is the general shape? Does it stay the same? And the reason I ask this is that if you're a team that's receiving the ball and you want to run the ball from there, do your players know how to get into shape depending on where the ball has landed? And of course, if you want to kick, does your shape stay the same? Or it's all these sort of questions, I guess, that you've got to grapple with. And for every single coach, I think everyone knows this. I'm just, this is not to, sorry, the number 8 is in the wrong position there, but I think everyone knows this. It's not to make you guys dumb or anything else. It's most teams conventionally would kick off like this, with the 14 being the chaser, with the 6 flanker being the guy that sort of plays in that, we call him the touch. He gets into the 5-meter zone. The 2 and 4 play around in the 15. All your forwards on the same side and 1 loose forward. I think most teams, I'm guessing most teams kick off like this, with 1 or 2 variations. The big cue is always to look out for the 9. Wherever the 9 is positioned, you can, that's where teams generally tend to go kick. Some teams have got a split kickoff mindset, so they split their pack. The loosies, the faster loosies on the end, depending on that, and they've got 4 and 5 next to the 10. The All Blacks, they sometimes use the system, but normally the 8 will be close to the 10 as well. Or they'll put the 8 wide, and because they can kick short where Kieran Reid contests, they can kick short in the middle there where the Locks contest. So, and again, all of these things don't really matter. The question is, can your team execute it, and what is your plan? If you don't mind giving ball away over the 10-meter line, good for you. If you believe that the opposition aren't good enough with their skill set in the air close, in the short space, good for you. If you've got a good chase line and a good defensive line or a good maul, good for you. You kick deep and the other guys return the kick back. So it's really just up to you and how you want to go about your business. We keep it. We try to keep it simple with our group. I'm hoping you can see again there. It's playing, but it's playing from far. No, it's the wrong one. Sorry, what am I looking for? Doesn't matter, I don't seem to be finding. Let's go there. We try to keep it simple with our group. Most of all our forwards on the same side. 7 of our forwards, the first system I showed you. And then we want the ball to hang. So we're not really trying to get into 22. We want the ball to hang so we can put good pressure. And then the bulk of what we do after that is we've got a defensive line. We want them to get out. The nice thing about this position, and most coaches will know, it's a very awkward space. The team can't kick directly out. Then you're saying the box kick. If he doesn't box kick, he has to pass the ball 10 meters backwards or maybe 20 meters backwards for them to kick. So that's why we like this sort of area to play with, because it puts pressure on different skill sets. Your 10 must be able to kick. If your 10 kicks, this winger must drop back. If 9 kicks, he must be good enough to kick a contestable. So that's our thinking in and around kicking here. Again, very straightforward, but the thing is that the whole idea is that we got a plan. We plan, and that's our thinking. I'm going to go back to the restart receive. I hope everyone can see. So, long of the short, that's you kicking off and you having a plan for the opposition, how you want to trap them. When you receive, it's a whole different ball game again. You need a plan for that. You know, I think a restart receive is like a defending game. You need to identify what space you can cover. You obviously can't identify all this, you can't cover all the spaces. That's unfortunately, rugby doesn't work like that. But you got to identify what space you want to cover, and you need to have a plan from that space. The second thing is your platform. If it's a long kick, what is your plan? The type of delivery that you want. If it's a kick on the locks, are you actually receiving to maul, or are you just receiving to set up a ruck? I spoke earlier about the shape. If I receive, am I organized enough? So am I in a position to run? Am I in a position to kick? Am I in a position to pass? And are your players good enough to move in the air and are they good enough to move while the ball is in the air? So, and there's various things to look at, because all of a sudden it's not just about, you know, we're just going to stand here and catch the ball. If you really want to be good at this and really want to have a point of difference, you know, you got to work on simple skills like high ball catching with the box, with your loosies, and you have to isolate those skills. You know, just like you isolate breakdown passing, just like you isolate, breakdown and catch and pass, you can also isolate high ball catching. It's simple, just standing and throwing the ball to a player so you can read the movement of the ball in the air. It's putting 2 or 3 different cones in front of him, so him moving between the different cones as he's catching. You can do this 5 minutes before every session starts. As he gets better with that, you bring the lifters in so they start moving with him. You know, the lifters are moving with the jumper so that as you throw the ball, the lifters are in. They learn to move while the ball is in the air. They learn to set first, and then once they've set, they obviously work on their lifting. But it's quite difficult. You know, line out lift is pretty straightforward, so to speak. It's about your speed, but you set, it's slow. Your line out, your set piece, or your sort of restart receive lifting is a whole different ball game, because you're moving. You must stop, you must time, and all those things. And if you don't train those things, they become quite difficult. It's not easy. It's not as natural for the players to sort of do that. And these are all low-key skills that you can do. I mean, these are 5-10 minute things that you can do. You move on. You go into technique under pressure. So you're putting, you know, heat shields where players are jumping against heat shields. You got opposition taking up space. They're not tackling your guys. They're just, getting in that space. So your guy gets used to that. It's catching the ball under fatigue, creating different obstacles, and from then on you move to a game scenario. Again, you as a coach, you got to be creative enough to obviously come up with different exercises and the kind of things that can engage your players. But the sort of picture that you're looking for is, is to get your team to a point where, if I'm looking here, I'm going to go back to Stratus again, if I can find it. I'm going there, I went to 100 Pollard. If you look at Japan, my screens are playing now. I'm going to shift it up. Can everyone see this?
Yeah, sure, we can see it.
Okay, so, against Japan don't want to take the Springboks to set piece. So they know the Springboks, there you go, they kick, but check, they don't kick out, they kick long. Why? Because they know the Springboks are a set piece team. So your team's got to have a plan for that. We don't want the Springboks to maul us. We want the Springboks to run at us, because then they can back themselves to defend. Different kind of team now. The New Zealanders, they'll go short, because that's this one I spoke about, where they go, but you can see England have planned for this. And I say they've planned for this because Courtney Laws is now in a position where he must move for that short receive. In a normal situation, there'd probably be a center there just standing. So they've organized themselves. They've got somebody in the pocket to catch that. Look at how far Anthony Watson is. He's the guy collecting where he'd normally be on the wing. And, so that there's various things in which every team can sort of plan for it. Here, the All Blacks are regathering possession, but the English are sort of ready for it again. What's your plan? you want to run? You want to kick? If you look at this kick, the All Blacks love this. And the reason they love this is because this is the picture they're looking for. They want to kick short so you can give them the ball so they can counter. So here, England play into that. If you look at it here, they don't really have a chase line. I mean, it's Carl Sinclair and Courtney Laws. There comes that long All Black pass to get into their counter-attack so they can get into shape. Look at how quickly, I think that's Cody Taylor's gotten himself into position. All of a sudden, they're back in shape again. And this is their back they can play. So right from where the kickoff was, within 2 phases, they're back there because they forced you to kick to them in the way that's comfortable to them. And look at the width they've already got. And that's a part I'm talking about to say, if you're receiving a kick, what is your plan? If a team does kick long, are you going to try to do that? Are you going to try to go at them from there? Good for you. If you're a kicking team, it was there. Maybe if it was a Springboks, they would have probably kicked it directly back. I'm not, different strokes for different folks. But the idea is every team just needs to have their own plan around how they want to play and how they sort of, from receiving kickoff, what it is that they want to do. Now I'm hopping on the same things here. I'm going to move forward. It's the same clip. Restart, Richie Mwanga. Sorry, if you can see there with the All Blacks is different. I spoke about how you set up. There's their lock. That's, geez, now I forget his name. There's Kieran Reid in the middle there. Brody Retallick. Check, he's on the edge, but as the kick happens, he starts moving in because they're not going to regather it. And all of a sudden, Dan Cole is on the outside again. So, but it's not about the kick. It's about England here. It's a funny space again outside the 22, but England are now better. They're organized. They've set up. They're going to carry, organize their lines. There's Will Hines. Everyone's out. Come back again. Want to play in the 15. So as you can see, it's really just about having a plan for your team. And it's you're a coach, you've got your own ideas about how you want the game to play, obviously, and you maybe got a different idea about what you think your team could be. The junior Springboks, we're a very territorial team. We're going to run, we're going to kick. We're not going to try to go from there. So we set up for that. If it's on for us to play, yeah, sure, we can definitely do that. We're not shy to have a go, but we're very mindful of where and how it happens. And we're also mindful of a game context. I'm going to show one more clip and then I'm going to get out of this. I lost everyone now. Sorry, let me get over there. Can everyone still see me? Or can everyone see the presentation? I'm trying to get to everyone. I can see Thomas. There we go. So I'm going to try find a new share here. If there. Share. Just bear with me for 2 seconds while I find this. It might be this one that we're looking for. Just bear with me here. I think it might be this clip. I must just double check, or it's 0738. Is it the one? So we've just got points here. Again, I can only talk from my own experiences. I don't want to talk for everyone else. We've just got points. So we received, but we had a team that could run and we had a profile of a team that could run. So see how these guys are already organizing themselves into shape because they know what's coming. Yes. Can you see or you can't see?
Cannot see.
Okay, can't see. Okay, let me.
It's not on. It's not on.
Okay, I'm gonna bring it. Now.
Oh, okay, it's on now. Now we can see.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see now. We can see now.
I need to go for a course on how to use PowerPoint in Zoom. But yeah, again, we had a different profile this year. So, so the team sort of knew how we wanted to play and the idea, and we backed ourselves to be able to have a go against anyone. I mean, this is in a semi-final, and we're still behind on the scoreboard, actually. So, but we've got a policy that we play, you know, so because we're a team that can run, we've got guys wanting to play out the back. And, you know, we trusted our skill set to sort of play against anyone. So, and it's just how we sort of operated. I mean, I think we conceded a penalty here, but the point is, with that kind of team, we want to play, we want to have a go. And, you know, that was our policy all the time. So all of a sudden, your team is starting to grow. With the junior Springboks, a whole different mindset. And because, again, test rugby and maybe the margins are very small there. Here it's a Currie Cup environment, so you've got a bit of more leeway to sort of do what you want, and maybe you can afford to take that risk. I'm going to wrap it up and I say wrap it up. I just want us to, can everyone see the screen again? Sorry, can everyone see the screen?
No, we can see you.
You can see me. Now I want to go to the presentation. There we go. Different teams. So when you study a team like the Crusaders, this is how they would normally set up for their kickoff receive. They want to play, you know, they split everyone 4-4. You know, there's various ways to do this whole thing. The whole idea is, from receiving a ball, what do you want your team to achieve? Do you want my team to have a run? Do you want my team to kick? Do you want my team to pass? Have I got all those options? And have I got my strongest guys to react? And the big thing, again, you can only get into position early. If the kick is going into this area, these guys need to move while the kick is in the air. The biggest sickness you see with most teams is that they only start moving while this guy, once this guy catches the ball. So it's a big teaching thing for us as well, to teach these guys to say, once the kick is going this way, while it's in the air, all of these guys need to start moving so that they're in a position to play. Whether we're going to kick, whether we're going to run, whether we're going to pass, it doesn't matter. Our whole mindset is that, you know, we need to be in position and we need to be ready. So, and it's my last point on this matter. As you're wrapping it up, it doesn't matter how you want to play. It really is not important, because the first thing is, you don't know how the team that's kicking off is going to kick off. What's important is, are your players skilled enough to be able to catch balls? That's the first thing that I always ask the coaches. If you don't work on your high ball catching, if you don't work on your lifting, if you don't work on your movement, because it's not a natural movement to be moving, you know, to be moving and then all of a sudden stop, jump, whatever the case might be. It's something that you really have to train. Aerial skills is something we don't do with locks and loose forwards. It's important. If it's a long kick, can your loose forwards or your backs catch it that way? So these are all the small things that you as a coach have to put in place in order for your team to obviously get better. And once you've got that in place, it's then being able to execute it under pressure. You can only put your hand up, or you can secretly say, damn, because I know it's like that. Most of us as coaches only practice kickoffs and kickoff receive on captain's run. Most of us as coaches only practice kickoffs and kickoff receive on captain's run. And I know it's a small part of the game, but it's a small, important part of the game, because we consider this as part of our set piece. Anything that means you restarting the game is actually set piece. Yeah, I've spoken so long about a very unsexy topic, so I'm going to stop it there with regards to kickoff. You know, and the idea again is that you're trying to make sure that your players have got the skills set to execute. And out of that, you need to have a plan, and that plan needs to lead you somewhere. So that's my sharing about kickoff receive. I think it's a very, very vital skill. Again, I'm going to open it up for quick questions if there's any questions. And listen, they don't have to be kickoff related. We can chat rugby across the board. I mean, yeah, it's an open forum. I've still got a bit of time before my divorce kicks in. So we can chat.
We hope we are not the cause for the divorce.
Well, it is 6 o'clock in South Africa, and you know, no problem. She knows the order. It's rugby, then her.
Okay. It's all over the world.
Yeah.
Rugby, then them. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, gentlemen. Yes. George Thomas, anyone? No questions? Everyone happy?
Yeah, we are waiting to see we are waiting to hear if anyone has a question. Gents, anyone?
Bafana?
Yes, I'm listening, sir.
Yeah, just a quick question. Probably just to get insight on probably how you train the kickoff. Sir. Assuming you're receiving and you're planning for it, right? How far forward do you plan around the kickoff receive? Say, is it the fourth phase, fifth phase?
Okay, so, yeah, I see what you mean. So our whole concept is, you know, obviously we don't know where the kickoff is going to be, but the first question that we have to ask ourselves is, can we get into shape to play? And in our shape, we always talk about the three options. So we've got to run, pass, kick options. And if we play, everything around our game is based on whether we get momentum or not. If we don't get momentum, we'll probably kick immediately. If we get momentum, say we carry and we get a good carry over that vantage line, and then we'll probably still try to play for another 2 phases to see if we get reward out of that. And the reasoning is simple. When teams kick off, they automatically drop a 10 and drop a 15. Some teams drop 3 at the back, obviously because they want to set themselves up for a counter-attack. So that's really our thinking. And the second part to your question is, we don't want to give opposition easy ball, so we don't really do we try not kick long. We don't even try to give them set piece ball. So we'll try to play until we get ourselves onto the 15 meters just outside our 22, and then we want to go into box kicks because we back ourselves in a contestable kick. We back ourselves in a kick chase from there, and it's not free ball for them, so they don't get a ball and have 50 meters to run at us. Then it's a scrap, and we don't mind defending. So that's our thinking. So we'll play for about 3 phases, but generally it's all based on momentum.
Okay. Thanks for that.
And sorry, Charles, just another thing. It also depends on the opposition. Some teams give you space out wide. If teams are weak out wide, we want to go there and sort of carry into that space.
Okay.
So we will always have a go depending on what the opposition give us.
So you more or less give the players some sort of leeway,
Yes. But everything happens within the shape, you see. So it's about making sure that it happens within the shape of our shape. It's quite interesting, and I mentioned this at the start to say, when you give a team talk, I mean, the first thing, and we've now sort of got ourselves, when we speak about the last message we give, and even sometimes in our warm-up, we actually practice the kickoff that we're going to do, because we do the toss quite early. So we practice the kickoff that we're going to do. If we're going to receive, we practice receiving kickoff, because it's something that we just never, ever practice in rugby. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
But I hope that answers you. That helps you. Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Anything else on kickoffs, or anyone else got a question on that, gents? It's really open. So, like I said, you don't have to ask kickoff related questions. You can ask any rugby related questions, or you can share your observations. I'm quite happy to listen and
for a quick one. Yeah, if depending on which is the shape, the defense shape for the, if we are kicking, we're kicking. The defense shape that is the most prone to for us retaining the ball. Yeah. So what let's say we have a strategy to retain the ball.
Yes.
How do you identify the other defense weakness and where to retain the ball? Is it the LION, or what? How do you?
Yeah, so I mean, that lion principle is really just for us to say that's where we want to kick. Like I said, we don't, test level has changed a bit, so we like to kick off. We like to kick off just outside the 22-meter area. We've also got a flat kick, so every one of those. Let's say we go L. L has got 3 different zones. We've got zone 1, zone 2, and zone 3, which I'm sure is the same for you guys as well. So for us, zone 1 is just the 10-meter line. Zone 2 is just outside the 22, and zone 3 is just outside the 22. So then we'll pick one of those areas. But one thing that's for sure, and you know, is, and sevens have actually, I mean, sevens are so good at it. And one thing that's for sure is that the short kickoff is probably the most underutilized kickoff out there. I think the All Blacks obviously that they're good at it, that they always want to have a go at it. Teams at test level don't do it, or teams at a higher level generally don't do it because they're risk averse. They don't want to take the risk. But it would be interesting to sort of figure out if you practice the short kickoff and a good chase line, I think you'll expose a lot of teams there. I think there's a lot of scope there to expose teams. The big thing for us is if you're going to kick short, and it's a massive thing. So you've got the guy that's going for the ball, who we call the rabbit in our system. We've got the guy there must be somebody that covers a 5 meter, which is we call him the touch. And then there's obviously the first hands. So there's about 2 or 3 guys in that space. And what we'll normally do is that we'll send 9 or somebody just to sort of hang behind the kick, because if we tap it back, somebody needs to be able to scoop it up. Because sometimes teams go up and they tap the ball back, but there's no one behind to sort of scoop that ball.
So no matter how the other guys are set up, you do your own thing. Yeah,
we'll do our own thing. Look, we obviously have the benefit of analyzing teams, but we generally have our own plan. So we play. Who do we play? We play New Zealand last year in the Junior World Cup. We kicked long against them. Why? Because New Zealand want to run.